The first basic we're going to start with is a definition of a scale, and we're going to give you an example of that to work with. And then we're going to go from the scale and we're going to build our first chord that we're going to play. So I'll give you a definition of what a chord is as well, and we're going to learn our first example. So a scale is, let's think about it this way. Okay, so do you remember from grade school, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? That is the major scale, which is the foundation of all Western music. So an example of that we're going to start with is the C major scale. Starting on C, and we progress up from our low C to our high C. Now they are the same notes, C and C, but one is an octave higher than the other. So what a scale is a set pattern of notes that progress from one note through this pattern until it hits the next note, which is the same note again. So we're going to give numbers to our scale tones, right? So each note would be a scale tone. So in the key of C is the easiest scale to deal with because it has no sharps and no flats. We'll get into the details on that later, but for something that you can use now, the C major scale, if you were to get on the piano keyboard and start on a C note, then you just go from that low C note, one white key at a time until you hit the next C, and that's the C major scale. So that means there's no black keys, and those black keys are sharps and flats. We'll go over more details of that in a future video. So, having said that, our scale tones, one is C, 2 is D, 3 is E, 4 is F, 5 is G, 6 is A, 7 is B, and 8 is C. 8 is the octave, hence octave. Okay? So, that's ascending from our low C to our high C. Now we can also descend, starting from our high C. Excuse me, let's try it again. So, right? So we start from high C and work our way backwards to our low C. So, having said that, a chord is a collection of 3 or more notes in that scale that are played simultaneously. Okay? So the way the major chord is built is it takes the 1 of the chord, the 3 of the chord, and the 5 of the chord. Those 3 notes consist of a major chord. So this is our C major chord. The 1, which is a C. The second note happens to be a 3rd, which is an E. And that's actually a C again there, but there's our G. So C, E, and G, and then back to C. Okay? So as long as it has those 3 notes, the C, the E, and the G, that will be a C major chord. Now, the standard way to play the open C is to start with your ring finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. The G string will be played open, and your index finger will be on the 1st fret of your B string, which is the 2nd string. So if you strum all of those together, starting with that low C, there's your C major chord. When you play them all together, they're played in harmony, so that can be considered a chord, playing it all at once, strumming it. And if you were to do each note separately, one at a time, that would be called an arpeggio. Just like that. And then we strum all of them together. So, some keys on how to play your chord and how to learn it well. You'll want to pick one finger, whatever finger is more comfortable with you. Sometimes your ring finger might be more comfortable to reach around to press down on that string first. So you want to be able to make a clear tone when you pluck with your pick. So press down so that your fingers are not pushing against any of the other strings, and then you pluck. Then you relax your finger and try it again. Try to get accurate on pressing down right behind the fret marker within the fret. When you can do that pretty easily with that finger, try your other fingers one at a time. So we'll go onto our middle finger, relax, find it, press down, and pluck. And then you can do that quicker as you practice. And then try the other finger. So take your finger off, press down. So when you first start, you're going to have to really look at your fingers and make sure they're there. But as you practice, your fingers will develop muscle memory, so they'll know where to go. And that just comes with lots of practice. And so doing one finger at a time helps you, so that you're separating it down to one thing. You're breaking it down to an easily managed part. And so when you can do that, maybe you'll do two fingers at a time. So I'm pushing down with my index finger and my second finger, and then I press them both at the same time. Or maybe it might be easier for you to do your ring finger and your middle finger and play them at the same time. The main key is that you want to make sure that each of your notes are ringing out really well, and that you're accurate on where you place your fingers. So after you can do maybe two fingers at the same time, try to get all three fingers where they belong. And if you need to stair step them, like start with 1, 2, and 3 to get it on there, find 1, find 2, find 3, and know that you're pressing down so that each one of the notes will ring out well. Now, your hand will get sore, especially if you're brand new to this, so you want to shake your hand out every so often, stretch it really well, and then whenever your hand starts to get really tired, just relax. Take a break from it, then come back to it. And the more you relax, come back to it, the quicker you're going to get your positioning for your chord position. So, once you have all three fingers in place, you don't want to really push down super hard, because that's going to wear your hand out, and it can also cause, muscle and tendon damage. So press down just enough so you can make them sound really nice, then relax. Now press down again, relax. Press down again, relax. And by doing this over and over, your fingers are going to know where to go. So then you can take your fingers away from the fretboard and bring them right to it. So then after we learn a few more chords, we're going to start being able to put all of these chords together to make interesting pieces of music. So, but for right now, we want to know how to play our chord very clearly by strumming it or by plucking it. But we're going to go over right hand technique about plucking and all that stuff later. So right now we want to get a nice basic chord under your fingertips so that you can play. So that's our C major scale and our C major chord. So until next time, happy picking.